All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Very excited to be with you all this afternoon. My name is Rosie McCool, the Deputy Director with CPOC, and we are very excited to invite one of our probation partners to do our first probation partner informational workshop this afternoon with all of you. So before we get started, I'm just going to go over a few housekeeping items, introduce our speaker, and then I will turn it over to him to share information about the wonderful opportunity and services that Air Tutors offers and can be utilized to support individuals on probation help achieve their educational goals. So before we get started, just a reminder, if you can please keep yourself on mute when you're not speaking. Also, we are recording today's workshop, and it will be posted online on our info workshops page in the near future. We will also send out a copy of the PowerPoint at the conclusion of today's workshop as well. And for as far as questions go, you can ask questions in a couple different formats. You can utilize our chat feature, or you can, at the conclusion of Hassan's presentation, you can unmute yourself, raise your hand and ask questions, and we can have a facilitated conversation that way. So with that, we do have with us today, flying solo, I will say, Hassan Ali. So on your flyer, I know you will note that there were a couple other speakers, unfortunately. They're not able to be with us today, but Hassan is the founder and CEO of Air Tutors. So everything that you need to know, want to know, he will be going over today. And so very excited for him to provide an overview of the opportunities and the work that Air Tutors does and how that can be advantageous to the individuals that probation serves. So, and we're very excited to have them as a probation partner. And so with that, Hassan, I will turn it over to you to take it off.
Awesome. Thank you, Rosie. And it's a pleasure to meet everybody. Feel more than welcome to, if there's any questions along the way, feel more than welcome to unmute yourself and don't feel shy in interrupting me. I'm more than happy to digress and answer any kind of questions, comments, add clarification wherever necessary. My name is Hassan. I'm the founder and CEO of Air Tutors. What I want to do is provide you an awesome hour and a half because you could have been anywhere in the world, but instead you chose here to be with us. So I'm very, very, very appreciative of that. And thank you, Katie, Amy, Rosie, for allowing us to share our story. Incredibly appreciate that. If you hear, by the way, if you hear any chickens, if you hear any like exotic birds over here, I'm over here in Maui right now. I'm usually based in San Francisco, but we partnered with the library system over here in Hawaii to provide the most remote and rural areas in Hawaii an educational opportunity to help get their community the support services that they needed. So it's a really cool, unique partnership that we're on over here. And, you know, they asked me to come present to their community, and they really had to twist my arm to get me to come over here. But so that's lame joke number one for today. I'm hoping to get to number 10 by the end of the hour and a half. And if you want to rank them at the end of the day, please let me know. I'm happy to take criticism and go from there. But lame joke number two. So let's just go ahead with who Air Tutors is. You know, so we're all about data, meaning demonstrating an awesome return on investment, and we're all about having some fun doing it. So what I want to do for this thing is share with you who Air Tutors is, our origination story, talk about data efficacy that we've had, why we're special, as well as some implementation designs that we've seen super successful along the way, as well as what separates us from the field. By the way, like everything we do is all online. We support K-12, but also young adults and adult learners. And, you know, actually, let me start off with my story. So I grew up in I was born in Houston, but the day I was born, my dad actually lost his job. And from there, we moved to Stockton, California. If you know of it, super socioeconomically impacted community. For instance, my high school class was 2,500 students. My graduating class was 480 students. A lot of us just got lost through the cracks and fell through the system. And I was the only kid to get into UC Berkeley. And from there, I moved down to Los Angeles to tutor to make ends meet while I was applying to medical schools. And that's where I got introduced to the private schools and boarding schools where they have rivers and streams and equestrian clubs running around their campuses. And I had metal detectors and barbed wires around mine. So I unknowingly pitched the idea of air tutors to an angel investor, and she was like, "Hey, if you want to do it, let's do it." So dropped out of medical school, gave my mom a heart attack, grew two front teeth, and here we are nearly 10 years later. So we started the company in 2016. In 2017, we partnered with our first school district, and then 6 months later, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation reached out to us and were like, "Who are you? How are you doing tutoring? Why are you doing tutoring this way?" Because what separated us in the field early on is that we were the first company to bring video conferencing into public school classrooms. Nobody had done this before back in 2015 when we were just piloting it. But what we did is we did it in a very intentional and meaningful way. For instance, we created the first online high dosage tutoring program in K-12, way before high dosage tutoring, high impact tutoring were even coined phrases. This is actually a classroom I went to back in 7th grade in Stockton, where we were and the district knew about us. We partnered with them back in 2017. They're like, "Hey, Assam, we believe in you. What could you do with these kiddos that are in 7th and 8th grade levels that are testing 6 to 7 years behind grade level?" So again, these were students that were in 8th grade, but testing at 1st grade proficiencies, in 7th grade, yet testing at kindergarten proficiencies. They were just kept getting moved through the system, graduating, but weren't at grade level. So what we did is we created an 11-week program where we had 4 sessions per week, and we embedded it into their interventional math period, because we are a supplemental service. We work amazingly well as a supplemental service, and the results here were incredible. Basically, our 7th graders, 71% of them met or exceeded their personal growth projections as determined by their MAP adapted diagnostic exam. 60% of our 8th graders doubled their growth projection, and 100% of them exceeded their personal growth projections. And all of this growth happened in 11 weeks. So basically from there, people were like, "Who are you? How are you doing tutoring? Why are you doing tutoring this way?" And that's where the Gates Foundation reached out to us and were like, "Hey, we heard about you." And after working with the Gates Foundation for about 3 years, we were able to receive a couple of grants from them. One thing I want to note is that a lot of our scientific studies were done by philanthropy that had a primary interest in supporting grades middle school, so like grades 4th through 8th. That was their primary interest in extending the literature existing in the space. However, air tutors, we support every grade level, youth, young adults. We have a lot of experiences with that, and I'll highlight that more, but I just want to add that disclaimer right now. So anyways, back in 2020, in the COVID year, the Gates Foundation awarded us our first grant with Mathematica to evaluate it, which was really cool because, well, kind of cool. It was a COVID year, so everybody had all this anxiety about, "Oh, are you sure you want to do this? It's your first grant." But for us, nothing ever changed. Anyways, so long story short, the overall results here were that we were able to achieve significantly higher growth on their iReady exam, which is another adaptive diagnostic used on a national basis. From here, the Gates Foundation were like, "Hey, okay, can you replicate these results on a more rigorous scientific study using a randomized control trial?" We said, "All right, let's do it." So the next year, they awarded us another grant. Again, matched us with Mathematica. These were for grades 4th through 6th, for 3 hours a week for about 13 weeks. And we were selecting students up to 4 years behind. So again, we had 6th graders testing at 4th grade proficiencies. We had our 2nd grade proficiency. We had 4th graders testing at kindergarten proficiency. Again, it's like the same kind of narrative exists where kids are just moving through the system, graduating grade levels, but they're not but they're not performing at the necessary grade levels. So these kids have historically been underperforming and have been told that, which leads us into the next slide, because it's really cool because we were able to qualitatively assess students prior, during, and after their tutoring sessions, well, Mathematica was, that is. And students that participated in Air Tutors reported highly positive relationships with their tutors, high sense of belongings in their tutoring sessions, and math confidence increased over the course of the program, which was awesome. This was really cool because data indicates that if students are enjoying their sessions, if they're having confidence in their sessions, they're going to hold on to those gains after the sessions end as well. So basically, the quantitative results were 0.13 standard deviations higher than the control, which we can talk in data later, but mumbo jumbo aside, it basically meant that 30% more students that were below grade level ended up at grade level in a 14-week period as compared to the control arm. Those results got us a bunch of different other grants, but I don't want to keep talking about grants and data. What I want to talk about is why our data shines this way. Um, you know, um, there's a whole influence of like a confluence of reasons why our data shines, but the most one of the most reasons is that we're reliable. We're there when you need us. We call, we email, we respond back to our text messages immediately. You're not going to sit here and wait to hear responses from us. We're also personalized. Whatever the needs are within your facilities, we're going to go out there and make it happen. We'll create a flexible program to make sure that we're moving the needles that your dashboard indicates need to be improved. Also, we have an outreach team that calls, emails, and text messages as many students, eligible students as possible, to help them understand what the program is and sign up if that's the implementation design that we want to have. Our goal is to make this as easy of a lift as as possible, as well as providing a white glove service. That's where we shine. Is all we have to do is get a little bit of things up front, and then we'll take care of the rest in terms of implementation. Also, the other part to why our data shines is the educational experience that we created. We started from the incredible success of a learning different student, a student that was in special education. She had various accommodations, processing issues, IEPs, dyslexia, ADHD. And from her success, we actually created a multisensory approach to help keep our students engaged and help keep them learning in a very fun manner. So you can see over here on the left, students and tutors can hear and see each other. It's not like a chat-based thing. It's more interactive than that. And on the right is our whiteboard, where we've done an awesome job in making sure that our tutors know the novel teaching techniques that we've created along the way. So using live animations, vivid colors, and what we've done is make the whole experience really helps keep our youth in the program, our young adults in the program, honing their computer literacy skills as well. All somebody would need essentially to run our platform is a Chromebook. It's not like a downloaded app, it's a web browser. Also, like, beyond how cool the tech is, it's really the tutors that make Air Tutors Air Tutors. Minimum qualification to become an Air Tutor is a bachelor's degree with 3 years of teaching experience. However, our community of around 1,200 tutors countrywide, 60% of them have a master's or PhD, and 70% of them have 10 plus years of teaching experience, and 100% of them have awesome personalities that shine to the web, knowing that if our tutors are lame, kids and students and youth are going to say we're boring. So we made sure to find folks that are fun, engaging, and not boring, so that people want to attend, so that they're having fun, and so that we can personalize whatever experience it is and make them succeed and help them succeed and move them past whatever barriers they're experiencing in life. By the way, all of our tutors are like California DOJ, fingerprinted approved, all of that stuff. We go above and beyond on a security measure. If there's any kind of text messages, all of that stuff, it's all masked, it's all recorded, it's all easily accessible through your dashboard, which I'll touch base on in just a little bit. But what I want to do right now is share this story because it's so it's really unique and it's one that's near and dear to my heart. This student is an international transfer student from Vietnam that is deaf and hard of hearing, has visual processing issues, and only knows how to sign in Vietnamese Sign Language, not American Sign Language. Apparently, there are different languages in sign language. I did not know that, and the entire county in Los Angeles had no idea how to support her. They heard about our program and they sent her to our school, and within 2 days, we were able to recruit our only international based tutor located in Vietnam that knows Vietnamese Sign Language and can teach English and math. And we buzzed her into our classroom every Tuesday and Thursday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. to help her learn English and math through Vietnamese Sign Language. And she graduated a year ago with a GPA of 3.8 and aspirations to become a teacher because of how this program helped her in her life. So the learned lesson there is whatever the local need is in your community, we're going to go out there and make it happen, whether it takes a global collaboration, whether it takes me coming out to the school sites or coming out to the facilities and helping out. I'm more than happy. We are more than happy to make sure you're experiencing quality sessions and enjoying the services. So here are some, actually, this is a text message I just got like a month ago. Geez, how time flies. And this was in Milpitas, on the left. What was cool is it's an after school program. We have around 380 students, and this was about an 8-week high dosage tutoring program. Basically, it was the results were based on one of their adaptive diagnostics tests, and in about 10 weeks, the way they see it is 1/3 of their students have already made a whole year's worth of growth and then some, which was really cool to see. Catherine over here on the right is one of our first superintendents we partnered with, and after the government released those ESSER funds, we were able to support the entire school district outside of English learning students and those with various accommodations. And it's been an awesome ride growing within that community as well. Here's a little bit of our footprint. So last academic year, we supported 25,000 students across 20 states. In California, this needs to be updated a little bit, but this is where this is a little bit of our footprint over here. And here are some of the types of supplemental services or supplemental programs that we offer. We started off with students with accommodations, 504s, IEPs, knowing that if we're able to support that community and those students, we can help all students of all skill sets everywhere. And thankfully, the data is mirroring our claims. So for first-time college students, what we could do is create a college application process where our college counselors come in, help create and well-round the students' application and helping them find their voice in their college stories and their narrative over there. Also help apply for financial aid. For dual enrollment programs, we work great over there as a supplemental resource where we can provide live tutoring to help make sure that they're receiving their college credits. If it's a self-paced online course as well, we could provide the live instruction that complements that. For our juvenile hall support for the kids in the 20 to 25 day programs, what we would highly recommend, is a high dosage tutoring program where we could quickly improve foundational skills, as we've seen throughout the slides over here. 8-week program, 4-week program, 11-week program. We've been able to move students up multiple grade levels. We can offer general support, meaning like an hour a week per academic subject, or if it's like a CTE kind of career technical exam where we're trying to get our youth and young adults and students to graduate or succeed in various like technical exams like carpentry and all that, or architecture. We could create those programs as well. The overall goal here is also by English language learners. We have bilingual tutors as well. So we support 35 plus different languages. And the goal of that is to take the students and match them with a specific educator that speaks their native language and has complementary expertise in the area of need. We can work with your CASP support, whatever your dashboard is indicating where you need the metrics to be moved. We're going to go out there and create a flexible and customized program that meets your needs and demonstrates results. That's the overall gist of this thing. If there's something here that is not listed, let us know. We're happy to be a personalized resource in that manner. Types of implementation, we could work during the facility hours as an embedded program. If there's an after school or after facility at home type program, where we can do that as well. The curriculum, we usually use our own, but if you have a specific curriculum, we can use that as well. Here are some different types of the days. These are the kiddos, the younger grades, K5. You can see some of the programs here. And then over here's the one with the video conferencing. This is what it looks like in an after school, at school program, just for visualization. I didn't have time to put in all of the older adults and high school kids, but basically you can see over here is around 100 students in a cafeteria, all with their headset microphones attached to a Chromebook. Yeah, that's how that looks. We have one paraprofessional here, one paraprofessional here. It'd be probably a probation officer or somebody to help manage the classroom. That's all we would need. And from there, if we're doing like an at-home opportunity, by the way, what the goal would be is to create a registration link that looks something like this, where we would select what grade or areas of need. Obviously all of this stuff could be customized, but basically what we would do is gather this quick information, where the support is needed and how the support is needed through these drop downs. Students and adults, young adults, would just say what days and times that are available. Then our platform would automatically group students together based off of indicated days and times of availability, subject of need, area of need, so we can launch these things very quickly and in a personalized manner. You would have an administrative dashboard where you can see all of the metrics that you need. Attendance data, per student testimonials, formative assessments, testimonials indicated by the tutor, indicated by the student, the budget remaining, what the individual attendance rates are like, group attendance rates are like, and all of these. The dashboard is also customized to each particular user. Meaning, if you're at the organization level, you'd have rights to everything. If you're at the ground level, you'd have certain partition rights to those things that are relevant to you as well. You could also jump into sessions if you want to take a look at what's happening. Another thing about us is that, like I mentioned, we take security extremely seriously, and 100% of our sessions are actively monitored. So you can see over here is like a screenshot of all of our tutors during one day and one time, where we are just making sure that they're doing the job that we say we're promising you. So this is our way for our quality control team to make sure that our tutors are doing the white glove service that we promise. So essentially, like, what separates us from all of the stuff that I just mentioned, and I've been hearing that more and more recently, which is pretty funny for me, because back in 2015, 2016, when we started this company, what separated us is we were the only ones in the field. It was like, Hassan, why are you doing this? You should go to medical school. Your mom is kind of dependent upon you. So flash forward to 10 years later, I'm just going to take a break real quick. Growing up in Stockton, California, a lot of my friends were in and out of the incarceration system. When I moved down to Los Angeles, more colloquially, I moved into the jungles. And again, I had neighbors that were in and out of the pen and all that. I remember I lived on Jefferson and La Cienega area. That, by the way, that area, if you know it, is totally night and day different now. There's a Whole Foods there. Uh, um, but I used to help my neighbors with their college application, their resumes, help them apply for jobs. So one thing that really separates us in this space is you're never going to find another CEO founder who's invested in your community success as I am. This is near and dear to my heart. And I'm going to make sure that everything that we do and we do extremely well. Our goal is to make sure, again, that your community succeeds. And another thing about that is we, after 10 years of on in the trenches work, we ended up working with some of the greatest, some of the world's biggest philanthropies, Gates Foundation. We worked with some of the most scientifically rigorous research and development companies, meaning West Ed, Mathematica. We worked with research advocacy groups, Arnold Ventures, Accelerate, helped Stanford, Brown, Harvard University understand effective tutoring practices that helped create the National Student Support Accelerator. We went really above and beyond in the last 10 years to make sure that we're helping the whole spectrum of community understand how to do this stuff and meet the needs of our students. We ended up getting published in various third-party publication firms, unsolicited. It was just like, hey, did you know you got published here? No, that's cool. Could you send me the link? Like that's and one thing I loved, this was an 8-week program, and this was in Colorado Springs. Students for last academic year progressed by 1.5 school years in an 8-week program, which was really cool. So now we're working near district wide. So, one thing that I really, really want to highlight in this thing, after everything I've mentioned, what is the return on investment? That's why I started with the data part, because that's basically the most scientifically rigorous things that we've done. And over the last 10 years, where we concentrated most of our efforts is making sure that we can make the statement that 30% more below grade level students will be brought up to grade level students in comparison to a control arm. And that's not just me saying it. That's West Ed saying it. That's Mathematica saying it through a scientifically rigorous research design. So, and we're, doing our best and constantly innovatively, creatively making sure that we exceed this. And we are doing an amazing job at that. What I want to do is just stop talking. I didn't get to my 10-lane jokes yet. So hopefully somebody has some questions out there for me, would love to answer them, talk through what the experience could look like. I think the oldest students we've supported so far were in their 40s. Most of our tutors are adjunct professors in various colleges. And yeah, love to hear from you all.
So, Hassan, thank you so much. That was a lot of great information. And folks I certainly want to invite everyone to either put questions in the chat if you have them, or feel free to raise your hand and unmute yourself if you prefer to ask questions. In that way, I do have a few questions myself that I could possibly just kick off the questions. Actually, I will pause because we have one, so I want to defer to our participants. So Mary, we'll go to you first.
Thank you so much. So I do have a question in regards to our facilities for like our juvenile facilities. If you were talking about a high dosage that you recommend for those in the very beginning. So can you kind of explain a little more on that, expand on what that would look like?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for the question. Nice to meet you, Mary. Out of curiosity, where are you based?
For San Bernardino County.
Oh, sweet. Okay. So basically, if there are any kind of pre-diagnostic exams or like benchmarks that are existing about those students, we could use that to group students together, and we would recommend grouping them in 4s or 2s or 3s. And from there, we would start them off at different places based on their proficiencies. For example, let's say we have a student testing at 8th grade proficiencies. What we would do is start them off at 9th grade proficiencies to keep them stretching their skill set with the aid of their tutor. And it would be, depending on the grade level, what we would recommend is an hour per day per academic subject for up to 5 days, so that, we could move them up in a very short amount of time. And go for it. I think you were about to say something.
And when it comes to those, like we have some that let's just say they've been out of school for a while. They were dropped out or expelled and so forth. And how are you able to provide learning disability screenings to identify what level they're at?
Yep, for sure. And thank you. I should have mentioned that. If there are no existing diagnostics, we have a very quick one that we could use to just get a quick feel for where they are.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, while others think of their questions, I have a few, and I'm actually just going to drop them in the chat as well, just so for reference. But curious if you're working in any facilities right now, whether it's in California or in another state, and then what would be needed to get started, and how the funding works, or how you're funded, or how the service would be funded.
Gotcha. Currently, here, let me. Sorry, I was going to copy and paste this stuff, but basically, we're not currently working with any juvenile facilities right now. Currently, what we're doing is we've outside of school districts, county offices of education, we've partnered with 2 so far, San Joaquin County Office of Ed and Lake County Office of Ed. Not for their facilities, but for other opportunities, like meaning not their county operated schools programs, but targeting their more rural students. But this has been a collaboration point interest of mine for years since I started this thing. We've also partnered with library systems, housing authorities, community-based organizations like Boys Girls Clubs, YMCAs, and really hoping to get one facility under our belt. So hopefully the data out there, the literature out there helps you have confidence in the approach that we've created. What is needed to get started? Literally all we have to do is just send an email to each other, create a program, and then craft a program. And then from there, what it is creating student accounts and matching them up with a tutor. So it's basically 3 parts. Let's grab a meeting to figure out what the needs are, create that program together, create the student accounts, match them to a tutor. And then after that, it's just implementing that thing. You'd be matched with 2 people. One is a growth person you probably need to start off with, and my coworker, Steve. He's based in Alabama, and he has a bunch of chickens and like pigs, as he would. Then from there, you'd have one dedicated implementation person to make sure that the program that we crafted together is working and succeeding, and if there are any hurdles existing, that we quickly placate those. How is Air Tutors funded? Could you? So we work with various titles. Have like Title I, Title IV, Title IX, all of that stuff. We can also like join hand in hand and apply for grants together. We'd love to do that with you. And various ESSER funds, ARP services like American Rescue Program, all of that stuff. We work. We can be creative in that.
Okay, I was just curious. So that's something, there obviously is a cost for the service, but how it gets funded, there may be a grant that you're aware of. Could be something where it's a partnership with obviously probation works with county offices of education and community colleges. So perhaps there's some arrangement there, but there isn't one set way in which the funding flows for the services if one were to enter a contract, but there is costs that probation would bear, or there would need to be identified as to how it gets funded.
Correct. And by the way, on a 24-week period, with 1 hour a week of support, our per pupil, per student 24-week annual cost is anywhere from $400 to $600 per student per academic year. And we measure our academic years in 24 weeks. So it's not like this huge elaborate cost. And if we're working with like a 25-day period, it could change. It's just dependent upon what the program is that we crafted together. I see Mr. Rodriguez has a question in the chat. Happy to answer that, Rosie, unless you want to go for it.
No. He's asking.
Yep. Go for it. No.
Yeah, and it sounds like you mentioned you're looking to expand and to offer your services to youth that are in juvenile facilities. So it isn't a group, you're not currently working within any juvenile facilities, but you are interested, and which is why you're here today, to share how we might be able to partner, probation might be able to partner with Air Tutors to provide this in a facility.
Correct. And what we've also done is already recruited tutors that have experience working in facilities already. So it's not like, we've taken the successes that we've had in the last 10 years and we're applying those successes and learned lessons here. So what we've done is we've already created a curriculum for young adults and adult learners that might not be at, and in various levels of K-12 proficiencies. We found that curriculum in math, in ELA, English language arts, in science, and have already embedded that into our platform. We've also found tutors that have awesome experiences working with our at-risk population and in various facilities. And we've also created a program where we can provide professional development services for our tutors to make sure that they're comfortable, they're succeeding in their sessions, and we can scale it out as well.
So not to keep hogging up all the questions, but I do have a few others as you were speaking, and you touched on this in one of the slides, because as you can imagine, the young people, the youth that we're serving are at all different stages of educational development. But one of the things you touched on in a slide was the youth with the shorter term stays, being able to assist youth who may only be with us for 3 weeks. But if a young person, a youth is attached to a tutor, because I believe they have the same tutor throughout the life of their with Air Tutors, can that tutor stay with them when they transition back into the community? Because all youth do eventually, and so some are only with us for a very short time, and so for that consistency, that can continue when they're in the community back home.
Beautiful questions. And that's something I forgot to mention as well, is that we meticulously match a student and group of students to one tutor and make sure that that tutor has a commitment level for that year. And the goal would be to not disrupt that continuity of service, like you mentioned, and provide a seamless experience so that when they're in the facilities, they have one tutor, and then when they're back at home or in their communities, they have the same tutor with that same familiarity with their learning needs and their personalities, and help them reintegrate and reentry their communities with success. Also, we can create a reentry program. So whether it's like identifying jobs within their communities where employers are more likely to hire youth that have been through the system, our goal is to make that happen. Like the breadth of services out there just require conversation to figure out what the needs are, and then we'll create it and we'll execute it extremely well. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Sweet.
And I would defer to others on this call, but I would imagine, and I'm curious, within our facilities, obviously there's a lot of security features related to the internet and so forth. And so, and this is not something I'm well versed on, but if different facilities likely may use a different product for their security services, do you have any limitations as it relates to that?
No, we built the platform to be super low in terms of like having like integration rigor. Like we could integrate with anything. And all it usually takes on the IT side is whitelisting a couple of URLs and IP addresses, and then we're good to go. Our biggest partner so far is Los Angeles Unified School District. And they've had like the most extensive IT process that we've experienced so far. And we were able to breeze through that with flying colors. So happy to, even if we don't have it, we will go out there and make it. So yeah.
And you mentioned this, I also believe in the beginning, that all the tutors you have already in advance done background, they've already gone through clearance and all of that, and you've already taken care of that. Okay.
Yep.
And I see you have put your contact info, and so the best way for anyone, excuse me, who's interested in getting started would just be to either give you a call or send an email using the email that you provided in the chat.
Yep. So here, phone number, email, and then I'll also put in my Calendly link. Boom.
And while Hassan is putting his or some of that information back into the chat, and it is for those of you who've been on the whole time, it's you'll find it there if you just scroll. I don't know if there's other questions that anyone has or things that operationally to think through, especially as this is the first time, Air Tutors is looking to expand and be able to offer services. And so it'll kind of be a learn as we go, just as occurred, when you were, doing that work with the young lady to get her services with the Vietnamese sign language. And so really, I think shows that you're willing to work through whatever obstacles may come up or whatever the needs are. But I don't know if there's other operational things that need to be contemplated. I know the background checks is obviously very important for anyone that's engaging with the youth. All the services are virtual, correct?
Yep.
If there's anything else that folks need to know or would like to know, and certainly if anyone loses the contact information, we have his information so we can help facilitate any communication as well.
We've been working with the OICR, and they helped introduce us to the Rising Scholars Network, and that should be pretty interesting. In conversation with a lot of folks, what we've come to realize is everybody believes like anti-recidivism, education is the basis for anti-recidivism. So yes, I would just want to highlight again that, yeah, we haven't partnered with a facility before, but we have 10 years of experience in exceeding beyond educational norms, meaning like what we thought was not possible, advancing students up 2, 3, 4, 5 grade levels in a very short amount of time. In a short amount of time, we actually went out there and did it in a very scientifically rigorous way. So we have 10 years of experiences doing this thing, and we have another my biceps to bring to the table, but that's a different conversation than my lame joke number 5. Go for it.
Well, I was at 8. No, just kidding. You mentioned the Rising Scholars, and so I think earlier you mentioned K through 12, but you'll do tutoring for post high school as well?
Yeah, so I mean, that's again in the first 2 years, a lot of our students were in colleges and preparing for their GMATs, GREs, LSAT. So we have a lot of tutors who are adjunct professors, or just have a lot of experiences working with the youth and young adults. So post-secondary education and like K-20 is a lot of where our foundation lies.
Okay, and that's very helpful to know as well. Just we have young people that are with us for very brief periods of time, but then the last few years now we've established programs that are for youth and for a longer period of time. It can be, you know, anywhere between 1 year all the way in some cases to 7. And so college is obviously something that we're really in. The Rising Scholars Program is a good example. There's been an infusion of services for the community colleges to partner with probation and our operations on juvenile facilities, but tutoring and being able to complete the coursework and be successful for the time outside of the classroom is going to be a big piece of that. So I think understanding what other resources are out there for probation to partner with is very helpful. So this presentation, I think, is very timely.
Awesome. And I also want to just highlight that we're a supplemental program. Our goal is to partner with you in working with the probation officers and making sure that we're able to join hand in hand and make sure your data shines.
Well, if there aren't any other questions, I'm just going to make sure nothing new has been posted in the chat. I think this has been really a lot of great information, and look forward to you know, being able to have Air Tutors as a partner in working with probation and to help youth meet their educational goals. And so we'll have to do a check-in soon to see, you know, what the engagement has been and where those partnerships have started. And certainly, you know, if anyone needs help kind of connecting with Hassan or Air Tutors, please do let us know. But just want to pause one last time in case there's any additional questions. If not, I will, I do want to thank you, Hassan, for, you know, spending time with us this afternoon, presenting all of the great information and the way Air Tutors can help support young people meet their educational goals for all the reasons that you stated and how it helps improve outcomes and just their future. So appreciate your desire to partner with us and look forward to working with you further.
Awesome. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, so take care,
Have a great
everyone.
weekend.
Thank you. You too.